In the heart of the English countryside, nestled among rolling hills and dense woods, stood the ancient estate of the Sturbridge family. For generations, the Sturbridges had been the proud owners of this sprawling estate, a place of beauty and mystery, known as Wycliffe Manor. The history of the Sturbridge lineage was as storied as the cobwebs that adorned the forgotten corners of their grand estate. In the dimly lit halls of Wycliffe Manor, portraits of long-dead ancestors watched over the current generation of Sturbridges. The family had seen its fair share of tragedy and triumph over the centuries, but there was one dark and unsettling tale that had haunted them for generations: the curse of lycanthropy. It was said that as old as time itself, a terrible curse had befallen the Sturbridge family, one that struck randomly, but always on a child's 16th birthday. On that fateful day, the afflicted child would transform into a monstrous, hairy beast, losing their mind to the curse's insatiable hunger for blood and destruction. Yet, over the centuries, the lycanthropy gene had seemingly vanished. The family believed that the curse had been broken, and the myth had become nothing more than a distant memory. Generations passed without a single sign of the terrible affliction, and Wycliffe Manor grew peaceful and prosperous once again. That was until one ominous day when the serenity of the estate was shattered. It began with the inexplicable disappearance of the Sturbridge family's beloved animals. The family dogs, once loyal and content, became perpetually agitated, their eyes haunted by an unseen presence. They howled mournfully in the dead of night, their barks echoing through the darkened corridors of the manor. One stormy evening, as the ancestral portraits gazed down with stern expressions, a dreadful revelation unfolded. Blood, bones, mud, and coarse fur began to appear mysteriously throughout the house. The Sturbridges were horrified to find these gruesome remnants strewn across the manor's once pristine floors. Whispers of the old curse resurfaced among the servants, like ghostly echoes from the past. Superstitions, long dismissed as fairy tales, crept back into the minds of those who served the family. As the signs of the curse grew more ominous, a sense of dread settled over Wycliffe Manor like an inescapable fog. Lord Reginald Sturbridge, the current patriarch of the family, knew that something sinister was afoot. He gathered his remaining family members in the Grand Library, a room filled with dusty books and forgotten secrets, to discuss the looming threat. Could it be the curse? Lady Eleanor Sturbridge, Reginald's wife, trembled as she spoke. Reginald exchanged a worried glance with his eldest son, Thomas, who had just turned 16. The young man's eyes betrayed a fear that ran deeper than words could convey. "We thought the curse was gone, but these signs, they can't be ignored." Desperation took hold of the Sturbridge family, and they scoured the library for any clues about the curse that had plagued their ancestors. Dusty volumes, some dating back centuries, revealed cryptic passages about lycanthropy and its ties to the Sturbridge bloodline. As they pored over the ancient texts, they stumbled upon a peculiar parchment hidden behind a forgotten bookshelf. It contained a drawing of a nightmarish creature, a werewolf, along with an incantation that promised to reveal the truth of their curse. With trembling hands, Reginald began to chant the incantation. The room filled with an eerie silence as the words resonated through the air. Suddenly, the portrait of an ancestor on the wall began to change, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The painting transformed into a window to the past, revealing a grim scene: a young Sturbridge, transformed into a monstrous beast, terrorizing the countryside. The family watched in horror as the vision unfolded, confirming the return of the curse. Determined to end the curse once and for all, the Sturbridges embarked on a perilous journey to find the source of their affliction. They followed cryptic clues hidden within the family's own history, deep into the heart of the ancient woods that surrounded Wycliffe Manor. Their quest led them to a hidden chamber beneath the manor, where the malevolent spirit of the curse was imprisoned. As the Sturbridge family descended into the hidden chamber beneath Wycliffe Manor, they were filled with a grim determination to confront the malevolent spirit of the curse that had plagued them for centuries. The air grew colder, and eerie whispers echoed through the dark, damp tunnels. The chamber was a dismal, subterranean crypt adorned with faded, ancient symbols. In the center lay a stone sarcophagus, covered in cryptic etchings. The family gathered around it, their faces etched with fear and determination. Lord Reginald, his voice trembling, recited the incantation to reveal the curse's source. The room was plunged into darkness, and an otherworldly presence began to manifest. The painting on the wall transformed once again, but this time it showed the wretched fate of the previous generation that had attempted to break the curse. In a gruesome and horrifying display, the spirit of the curse tore through the fabric of reality. It seized upon Thomas, the youngest of the Sturbridge children and the most vulnerable to its malevolence. With an agonized cry, Thomas was enveloped in a grotesque transformation. His body contorted, limbs elongated, and his face twisted into a snarling, nightmarish visage. Unable to control his newfound monstrous form, Thomas turned on his family, tearing through them with savage ferocity. Blood splattered across the chamber's cold, stone walls, and anguished screams filled the air as the curse exacted its cruel vengeance. Lady Eleanor, Reginald, and their remaining children fought desperately to contain the abomination that had once been their beloved son. But the curse was relentless, and it seemed as though their bloodline was doomed to suffer for all eternity. In a final act of desperation, Reginald managed to recite a counter-incantation, attempting to banish the curse and save his family. But the ritual went horribly wrong, and the chamber was consumed by a searing burst of malevolent energy. The ancestral estate of Wycliffe Manor crumbled, its foundations shattered by the curse's fury. As the dust settled and the ruins of their once grand home smoldered, the Sturbridge family lay broken and lifeless. The curse, far from being vanquished, had exacted its darkest toll yet, and Wycliffe Manor stood as a haunting testament to their tragic end. The curse, now unbound and free, slunk back into the shadows, ready to terrorize future generations of the Sturbridge bloodline. The tale of the cursed aristocrats would be whispered in hushed tones for centuries to come, a chilling reminder that some curses were destined to endure, and some family legacies were forever marked by tragedy.